Chapter 18. The priests, the Levites, that is, all the tribe of Levi, will have no part or heritage with Israel. Their food and their heritage will be the offerings of the Lord made by fire. And they will have no heritage among their countrymen, the Lord is their heritage, as he has said to them. And this is to be the priest's right: those who make an offering of a sheep or an ox are to give to the priest the top part of the leg and the two sides of the head and the stomach. And in addition you are to give him the first of your grain and wine and oil, and the first wool cut from your sheep. For he, and his sons after him forever, have been marked out by the Lord your God from all your tribes, to do the work of priests in the name of the Lord. And if a Levite, moved by a strong desire, comes from any town in all Israel where he is living to the place marked out by the Lord, then he will do the work of a priest in the name of the Lord his God, with all his brothers the Levites who are there before the Lord. His food will be the same as theirs, in addition to what has come to him as the price of his property. When you have come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, do not take as your example the disgusting ways of those nations. Let there not be seen among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter go through the fire, or anyone using secret arts, or a maker of strange sounds, or a reader of signs, or any wonder worker, or anyone using secret force on people, or putting questions to a spirit, or having secret knowledge, or going to the dead for directions. For all who do such things are disgusting to the Lord, and because of these disgusting things the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You are to be upright in heart before the Lord your God. For these nations, whose land you are taking, give attention to readers of signs and to those using secret arts, but the Lord your God will not let you do so. The Lord your God will give you a prophet from among your people, like me. You will give ear to him, in answer to the request you made to the Lord your God in Horeb on the day of the great meeting, when you said, "Let not the voice of the Lord my God come to my ears again, and let me not see this great fire any more, or death will overtake me." Then the Lord said to me, "What they have said is well said. I will give them a prophet from among themselves, like you, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he will say to them whatever I give him orders to say. And whoever does not give ear to my words which he will say in my name, will be responsible to me. But the prophet who takes it on himself to say words in my name which I have not given him orders to say, or who says anything in the name of other gods, will come to his death." And if you say in your hearts, "How are we to be certain that the word does not come from the Lord?" When a prophet makes a statement in the name of the Lord, if what he says does not take place and his words do not come true, then his word is not the word of the Lord. The words of the prophet were said in the pride of his heart, and you are to have no fear of him. Chapter 19. When the nations, whose land the Lord your God is giving you, have been cut off by him, and you have taken their place and are living in their towns and in their houses, you are to have 3 towns marked out in the land which the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage. You are to make ready a way, and see that the land which the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage, is marked out into 3 parts, to which any taker of life may go in flight. This is to be the rule for anyone who goes in flight there, after causing the death of his neighbor in error and not through hate. For example, if a man goes into the woods with his neighbor for the purpose of cutting down trees, and when he takes his axe to give a blow to the tree, the head of the axe comes off, and falling onto his neighbor gives him a wound causing his death, then the man may go in flight to one of these towns and be safe. For if not, he who has the right of punishment may go running after the taker of life in the heat of his wrath, and overtake him because the way is long, and give him a death blow, though it is not right for him to be put to death because he was not moved by hate. And so I am ordering you to see that 3 towns are marked out for this purpose. And if the Lord your God makes wide the limits of your land, as he said in his oath to your fathers, and gives you all the land which he undertook to give to your fathers, if you keep and do all these orders which I give you today, loving the Lord your God and walking ever in his ways, then let 3 more towns, in addition to these 3, be marked out for you, so that in all your land, which the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage, no man may be wrongly put to death, for which you will be responsible. But if any man has hate for his neighbor, and waiting for him secretly makes an attack on him and gives him a blow causing his death, and then goes in flight to one of these towns, the responsible men of his town are to send and take him, and give him up to the one who has the right of punishment to be put to death. Have no pity on him, so that Israel may be clear from the crime of putting a man to death without cause, and it will be well for you. Your neighbor's landmark, which was put in its place by the men of old times, is not to be moved or taken away in the land of your heritage which the Lord your God is giving you. One witness may not make a statement against a man in relation to any sin or wrongdoing which he has done. On the word of 2 or 3 witnesses a question is to be judged. If a false witness makes a statement against a man, saying that he has done wrong, then the 2 men, between whom the argument has taken place, are to come before the Lord, before the priests and judges who are then in power, and the judges will have the question looked into with care, and if the witness is seen to be false and to have made a false statement against his brother, then do to him what it was his purpose to do to his brother, and so put away the evil from among you, and the rest of the people, hearing of it, will be full of fear, and never again do such evil among you. Have no pity, let life be given for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Chapter 20. When you go out to war against other nations, and come face to face with horses and war carriages and armies greater in number than yourselves, have no fear of them, for the Lord your God is with you, who took you up out of the land of Egypt. And when you are on the point of attacking, let the priest come forward and say to the people, Give ear, O Israel, today you are going forward to the fight. Let your heart be strong, do not let uncontrolled fear overcome you because of those who are against you. For the Lord your God goes with you, fighting for you to give you salvation from those who are against you. And let the overseers say to the people, If there is any man who has made for himself a new house and has not gone into it, let him go back to his house, so that in the event of his death in the fight, another may not take his house for himself. Or if any man has made a vine garden without taking the firstfruits of it, let him go back to his house, so that in the event of his death in the fight, another may not be the first to make use of the fruit. Or if any man is newly married and has had no sex relations with his wife, let him go back to his house, so that in the event of his death in the fight, another man may not take her. And let the overseers go on to say to the people, If there is any man whose heart is feeble with fear, let him go back to his house before he makes the hearts of his countrymen feeble. Then, after saying these words to the people, let the overseers put captains over the army. When you come to a town, before attacking it, make an offer of peace. And if it gives you back an answer of peace, opening its doors to you, then all the people in it may be put to forced work as your servants. If however it will not make peace with you, but war, then let it be shut in on all sides, and when the Lord your God has given it into your hands, let every male in it be put to death without mercy. But the women and the children and the cattle and everything in the town and all its wealth, you may take for yourselves. The wealth of your haters, which the Lord your God has given you, will be your food. So you are to do to all the towns far away, which are not the towns of these nations, but in the towns of these peoples whose land the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage, let no living thing be kept from death. Give them up to the curse. The Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, as the Lord your God has given you orders, so that you may not take them as your example and do all the disgusting things which they do in the worship of their gods, so sinning against the Lord your God. If in war a town is shut in by your armies for a long time, do not let its trees be cut down and made waste, for their fruit will be your food. Are the trees of the countryside meant for you to take up arms against them? Only those trees which you are certain are not used for food may be cut down and put to destruction, and you are to make walls of attack against the town till it is taken. Chapter 21. If, in the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you come across the dead body of a man in the open country, and you have no idea who has put him to death, then your responsible men and your judges are to come out and give orders for the distance from the dead body to the towns round about it to be measured, and whichever town is nearest to the body, the responsible men of that town are to take from the herd a young cow which has never been used for work or put under the yoke, and they are to take the cow into a valley where there is flowing water, and which is not ploughed or planted, and there the neck of the cow is to be broken. Then the priests, the sons of Levi, are to come near, for they have been marked out by the Lord your God to be his servants and to give blessings in the name of the Lord, and by their decision every argument and every blow is to be judged. And all the responsible men of the town which is nearest to the dead man, washing their hands over the cow whose neck was broken in the valley, will say, "This death is not the work of our hands, and our eyes have not seen it. Have mercy, O Lord, on your people Israel whom you have made free, and take away from your people the crime of a death without cause." Then they will no longer be responsible for the man's death. So you will take away the crime of a death without cause from among you, when you do what is right in the eyes of the Lord, when you go out to war against other nations, and the Lord your God gives them up into your hands and you take them as prisoners. If among the prisoners you see a beautiful woman and it is your desire to make her your wife, then take her back to your house, and let her hair and her nails be cut, and let her take off the dress in which she was made prisoner and go on living in your house and weeping for her father and mother for a full month. And after that you may go into her and be her husband, and she will be your wife. But if you have no delight in her, you are to let her go wherever she will. You may not take a price for her as if she was your property, for you have made use of her for your pleasure. If a man has two wives, one greatly loved and the other hated, and the two of them have had children by him, and if the first son is the child of the hated wife, then when he gives his property to his sons for their heritage, he is not to put the son of his loved one in the place of the first son, the son of the hated wife, but he is to give his first son his birthright, and twice as great a part of his property, for he is the firstfruits of his strength, and the right of the first son is his. If a man has a son who is hard-hearted and uncontrolled, who gives no attention to the voice of his father and mother, and will not be ruled by them, though they give him punishment, then let his father and mother take him to the responsible men of the town, to the public place, and say to them, "This son of ours is hard-hearted and uncontrolled, he will not give attention to us, he gives himself up to pleasure and strong drink." Then he is to be stoned to death by all the men of the town. So you are to put away the evil from among you, and all Israel, hearing of it, will be full of fear. If a man does a crime for which the punishment is death, and he is put to death by hanging him on a tree, do not let his body be on the tree all night, but put it to rest in the earth the same day, for the man who undergoes hanging is cursed by God. So do not make unclean the land which the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage. Chapter 22. If you see your brother's ox or his sheep wandering, do not go by without helping, but take them back to your brother. If their owner is not near, or if you are not certain who he is, then take the beast to your house and keep it till its owner comes in search of it, and then you are to give it back to him. Do the same with his ass or his robe or anything which has gone from your brother's keeping and which you have come across. Do not keep it to yourself. If you see your brother's ox or his ass falling down on the road, do not go by without giving him help in lifting it up again. It is not right for a woman to be dressed in man's clothing, or for a man to put on a woman's robe. Whoever does such things is disgusting to the Lord your God. If by chance you see a place which a bird has made for itself in a tree or on the earth, with young ones or eggs, and the mother bird seated on the young ones or on the eggs, do not take the mother bird with the young. See that you let the mother bird go, but the young ones you may take, so it will be well for you and your life will be long. If that you are building a house, make a railing for the roof, so that the blood of any man falling from it will not come on your house. Do not have your vine garden planted with two sorts of seed, or all of it may become a loss, the seed you have put in as well as the increase. Do not do your plowing with an ox and an ass yoked together. Do not have clothing made of two sorts of thread, wool and linen together. On the four edges of your robe, with which your body is covered, put ornaments of twisted threads. If any man takes a wife, and having had connection with her, has no delight in her, and says evil things about her and gives her a bad name, saying, I took this woman, and when I had connection with her it was clear to me that she was not a virgin, then let the girl's father and mother put before the responsible men of the town, in the public place, signs that the girl was a virgin, and let the girl's father say to the responsible men, I gave my daughter to this man for his wife, but he has no love for her. And now he has put shame on her, saying that she is not a virgin, but here is the sign that she is a virgin. Then they are to put her clothing before the responsible men of the town. Then the responsible men of the town are to give the man his punishment. They will take from him 100 shekels of silver, which are to be given to the father of the girl, because he has given an evil name to a virgin of Israel. She will go on being his wife, he may never put her away all his life. But if what he has said is true, and she is seen to be not a virgin, then they are to make the girl come to the door of her father's house, and she will be stoned to death by the men of the town, because she has done evil and put shame on Israel, by acting as a loose woman in her father's house. So you are to put away evil from among you. If a man is taken in the act of going into a married woman, the two of them, the man as well as the woman, are to be put to death. So you are to put away the evil from Israel. If a young virgin has given her word to be married to a man, and another man meeting her in the town, has connection with her, then you are to take the two of them to the doorway of the town, and have them stoned to death, the young virgin, because she gave no cry for help, though it was in the town, and the man, because he has put shame on his neighbor's wife. So you are to put away evil from among you. But if the man, meeting such a virgin in the open country, takes her by force, then only the man is to be put to death. Nothing is to be done to the virgin, because there is no cause of death in her. It is the same as if a man made an attack on his neighbor and put him to death. For he came across her in the open country, and there was no one to come to the help of the virgin in answer to her cry. If a man sees a young virgin, who has not given her word to be married to anyone, and he takes her by force and has connection with her, and discovery is made of it, then the man will have to give the virgin's father 50 shekels of silver and make her his wife, because he has put shame on her. He may never put her away all his life. A man may not take his father's wife or have sex relations with a woman who is his father's. Chapter 23. No man whose private parts have been wounded or cut off may come into the meeting of the Lord's people. One whose father and mother are not married may not come into the meeting of the Lord's people, or any of his family to the 10th generation. No Ammonite or Moabite or any of their people to the 10th generation may come into the meeting of the Lord's people, because they gave you no bread or water on your way, when you came out of Egypt, and they got Balaam, the son of Beor, from Pethor Aram Naharaim to put curses on you. But the Lord your God would not give ear to Balaam, but let the curse be changed into a blessing to you, because of his love for you. Do nothing for their peace or well-being forever. But have no hate for an Edomite, because he is your brother, or for an Egyptian, for you are living in his land. Their children in the 3rd generation may come into the meeting of the Lord's people. When you go out to war and put your tents in position, keep from every evil thing. If any man among you becomes unclean through anything which has taken place in the night, he is to go out from the tent circle and keep outside it, but when evening comes near, let him take a bath, and after sundown he may come back to the tents. Let there be a place outside the tent circle to which you may go, and have among your arms a spade. And when you have been to that place, let that which comes from you be covered up with earth, for the Lord your God is walking among your tents, to keep you safe and to give up into your hands those who are fighting against you. Then let your tents be holy, so that he may see no unclean thing among you, and be turned away from you. Do not give back to his master a servant who has gone in flight from his master and come to you. Let him go on living among you in whatever place is most pleasing to him. Do not be hard on him. No daughter of Israel is to let herself be used as a loose woman for a strange god, and no son of Israel is to give himself to a man. Do not take into the house of the Lord your God, as an offering for an oath, the price of a loose woman or the money given to one used for sex purposes in the worship of the gods, for these two things are disgusting to the Lord your God. Do not take interest from an Israelite on anything, money or food or any other goods, which you let him have. From men of other nations you may take interest, but not from an Israelite, so that the blessing of the Lord your God may be on everything to which you put your hand, in the land which you are about to take as your heritage. When you take an oath to the Lord, do not be slow to give effect to it, for without doubt the Lord your God will make you responsible, and will put it to your account as sin. But if you take no oath, there will be no sin. Whatever your lips have said, see that you do it, for you gave your word freely to the Lord your God. When you go into your neighbor's vine garden, you may take of his grapes at your pleasure, but you may not take them away in your vessel. When you go into your neighbor's field, you may take the heads of grain with your hand, but you may not put your blade to his grain. Chapter 24. If a man takes a wife, and after they are married she is unpleasing to him because of some bad quality in her, let him give her a statement in writing and send her away from his house. And when she has gone away from him, she may become another man's wife. And if the second husband has no love for her and, giving her a statement in writing, sends her away, or if death comes to the second husband to whom she was married, her first husband, who had sent her away, may not take her back after she has been wife to another, for that is disgusting to the Lord, and you are not to be a cause of sin in the land which the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage. A newly married man will not have to go out with the army or undertake any business, but may be free for 1 year, living in his house for the comfort of his wife. No one is to take, on account of a debt, the stones with which grain is crushed, for in doing so he takes a man's living. If a man takes by force one of his countrymen, the children of Israel, using him as his property or getting a price for him, that thief is to be put to death. So you are to put away evil from among you. In connection with the leper's disease, take care to keep and do every detail of the teaching of the priests, the Levites, as I gave them orders, so you are to do. Keep in mind what the Lord your God did to Miriam on the way, when you came out of Egypt. If you let your brother have the use of anything which is yours, do not go into his house and take anything of his as a sign of his debt, but keep outside till he comes out and gives it to you. If he is a poor man, do not keep his property all night, but be certain to give it back to him when the sun goes down, so that he may have his clothing for sleeping in, and will give you his blessing, and this will be put to your account as righteousness before the Lord your God. Do not be hard on a servant who is poor and in need, if he is one of your countrymen or a man from another nation living with you in your land. Give him his payment day by day, not keeping it back overnight, for he is poor and his living is dependent on it, and if his cry against you comes to the ears of the Lord, it will be judged as sin in you. Fathers are not to be put to death for their children or children for their fathers. Every man is to be put to death for the sin which he himself has done. Be upright in judging the cause of the man from a strange country and of him who has no father, Do not take a widow's clothing on account of a debt, but keep in mind that you were a servant in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God made you free, for this is why I give you orders to do this. When you get in the grain from your field, if some of the grain has been dropped by chance in the field, do not go back and get it, but let it be for the man from a strange land, the child without a father, and the widow, so that the blessing of the Lord your God may be on all the work of your hands. When you are shaking the fruit from your olive trees, do not go over the branches a second time, let some be for the man from a strange land, the child without a father, and the widow. When you are pulling the grapes from your vines, do not take up those which have been dropped, let them be for the man from a strange land, the child without a father, and the widow. Keep in mind that you were a servant in the land of Egypt, for this is why I give you orders to do this. Chapter 25. If there is an argument between men and they go to law with one another, let the judges give their decision for the upright, and against the wrongdoer. And if the wrongdoer is to undergo punishment by whipping, the judge will give orders for him to go down on his face and be whipped before him, the number of the blows being in relation to his crime. He may be given 40 blows, not more, for if more are given, your brother may be shamed before you. Do not keep the ox from taking the grain when he is crushing it. If brothers are living together and one of them, at his death, has no son, the wife of the dead man is not to be married outside the family to another man. Let her husband's brother go into her and make her his wife, doing as it is right for a brother-in-law to do. Then the first male child she has will take the rights of the brother who is dead, so that his name may not come to an end in Israel. But if the man says he will not take his brother's wife, then let the wife go to the responsible men of the town, and say, "My husband's brother will not keep his brother's name living in Israel, he will not do what it is right for a husband's brother to do." Then the responsible men of the town will send for the man, and have talk with him, and if he still says, "I will not take her," then his brother's wife is to come to him, before the responsible men of the town, and take his shoe off his foot, and put shame on him, and say, "So let it be done to the man who will not take care of his brother's name, and his family will be named in Israel, the house of him whose shoe has been taken off." If two men are fighting, and the wife of one of them, coming to the help of her husband, takes the other by the private parts, her hand is to be cut off. Have no pity on her. Do not have in your bag different weights, a great and a small, or in your house different measures, a great and a small. But have a true weight and a true measure, so that your life may be long in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. For all who do such things, and all whose ways are not upright, are disgusting to the Lord your God. Keep in mind what Amalek did to you on your way from Egypt, how, meeting you on the way, he made an attack on you when you were tired and without strength, cutting off all the feeble ones at the end of your line, and the fear of God was not in him. So when the Lord your God has given you rest from all who are against you on every side, in the land which the Lord your God is giving you for your heritage, see to it that the memory of Amalek is cut off from the earth. Keep this in mind. Chapter 26. Now when you have come into the land which the Lord is giving you for your heritage, and you have made it yours and are living in it, you are to take a part of the firstfruits of the earth, which you get from the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and put it in a basket, and go to the place marked out by the Lord your God, as the resting place of his name. And you are to come to him who is priest at that time, and say to him, "I give witness today before the Lord your God, that I have come into the land which the Lord made an oath to our fathers to give us." Then the priest will take the basket from your hand and put it down in front of the altar of the Lord your God. And these are the words which you will say before the Lord your God. "My father was a wandering Aramean, and he went down with a small number of people into Egypt. There he became a great and strong nation, and the Egyptians were cruel to us. crushing us under a hard yoke, and our cry went up to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord's ear was open to the voice of our cry, and his eyes took note of our grief and the crushing weight of our work. And the Lord took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and a stretched out arm, with works of power and signs and wonders. And he has been our guide to this place, and has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. So now, I have come here with the first of the fruits of the earth which you, O Lord, have given me. Then you will put it down before the Lord your God and give him worship. And you will have joy in every good thing which the Lord your God has given to you and to your family. And the Levite, and the man from a strange land who is with you, will take part in your joy. When you have taken out a tenth from the tenth of all your produce in the 3rd year, which is the year when this has to be done, give it to the Levite, and the man from a strange land, and the child without a father, and the widow, so that they may have food in your towns and be full, and say before the Lord your God, I have taken all the holy things out of my house and have given them to the Levite, and the man from a strange land, and him who has no father, and the widow, as you have given me orders. I have kept in mind all your orders, in nothing have I gone against them. No part of these things has been used for food in a time of weeping, or put away when I was unclean, or given for the dead. I have given ear to the voice of the Lord my God, and have done all you have given me orders to do. So, looking down from your holy place in heaven, send your blessing on your people Israel and on the land which you have given us, as you said in your oath to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Today the Lord your God gives you orders to keep all these laws and decisions, so then keep and do them with all your heart and all your soul. Today you have given witness that the Lord is your God, and that you will go in his ways and keep his laws and his orders and his decisions and give ear to his voice. And the Lord has made it clear this day that you are a special people to him, as he gave you his word, and that you are to keep all his orders, and that he will make you high over all the nations he has made, in praise, in name, and in honor, and that you are to be a holy people to the Lord your God as he has said. Chapter 27. Then Moses and the responsible men of Israel gave the people these orders: Keep all the orders which I have given you this day, and on the day when you go over Jordan into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, put up great stones, coating them with building paste, and writing on them all the words of this law, after you have gone over, so that you may take the heritage which the Lord your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has said. And when you have gone over Jordan, you are to put up these stones, as I have said to you today, in Mount Ebal, and have them coated with building paste. There you are to make an altar to the Lord your God, of stones on which no iron instrument has been used. You are to make the altar of the Lord your God of uncut stones, offering on it burnt offerings to the Lord your God, and you are to make your peace offerings, feasting there with joy before the Lord your God. And put on the stones all the words of this law, writing them very clearly. Then Moses and the priests, the Levites, said to all Israel, Be quiet and give ear, O Israel, today you have become the people of the Lord your God. For this cause you are to give ear to the voice of the Lord your God, and do his orders and his laws which I give you this day. That same day Moses said to the people, These are to take their places on Mount Gerizim for blessing the people when you have gone over Jordan, Simeon and Levi and Judah and Issachar and Joseph and Benjamin, and these are to be on Mount Ebal for the curse, Reuben, Gad, and Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. Then the Levites are to say in a loud voice to all the men of Israel, Cursed is the man who makes any image of wood or stone or metal, disgusting to the Lord, the work of man's hands, and puts it up in secret. And let all the people say, So be it. Cursed is he who does not give honor to his father or mother. And let all the people say, So be it. Cursed is he who takes his neighbor's landmark from its place. And let all the people say, So be it. Cursed is he by whom the blind are turned out of the way. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who gives a wrong decision in the cause of a man from a strange land, or of one without a father, or of a widow. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who has sex relations with his father's wife, for he has put shame on his father. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who has sex relations with any sort of beast. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who has sex relations with his sister, the daughter of his father or of his mother. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who has sex relations with his mother-in-law. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who takes his neighbor's life secretly. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who for a reward puts to death one who has done no wrong. And let all the people say, so be it. Cursed is he who does not take this law to heart to do it. And let all the people say, so be it. Chapter 28. Now if you give ear to the voice of the Lord your God, and keep with care all these orders which I have given you today, then the Lord your God will put you high over all the nations of the earth, and all these blessings will come on you and overtake you, if your ears are open to the voice of the Lord your God. A blessing will be on you in the town, and a blessing in the field. A blessing will be on the fruit of your body, and on the fruit of your land, on the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your herd, and the young of your flock. A blessing will be on your basket and on your bread basin. A blessing will be on your coming in and on your going out. By the power of the Lord, those who take arms against you will be overcome before you. They will come out against you one way, and will go in flight from you 7 ways. The Lord will send his blessing on your storehouses and on everything to which you put your hand. His blessing will be on you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. The Lord will keep you as a people holy to himself, as he has said to you in his oath, if you keep the orders of the Lord your God and go on walking in his ways. And all the peoples of the earth will see that the name of the Lord is on you, and they will go in fear of you. And the Lord will make you fertile in every good thing, in the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your cattle, and the fruit of your fields, in the land which the Lord, by his oath to your fathers, said he would give you. Opening his storehouse in heaven, the Lord will send rain on your land at the right time, blessing all the work of your hands. Other nations will make use of your wealth, and you will have no need of theirs. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you will ever have the highest place, if you give ear to the orders of the Lord your God which I give you today, to keep and to do them, not turning away from any of the orders which I give you today, to the right hand or to the left, or going after any other gods to give them worship. But if you do not give ear to the voice of the Lord your God, and take care to do all his orders and his laws which I give you today, then all these curses will come on you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the town and cursed in the field. A curse will be on your basket and on your bread basin. A curse will be on the fruit of your body, and on the fruit of your land, on the increase of your cattle, and the young of your flock. You will be cursed when you come in and cursed when you go out. The Lord will send on you cursing and trouble and punishment in everything to which you put your hand, till sudden destruction overtakes you, because of your evil ways in which you have been false to me. The Lord will send disease after disease on you, till you have been cut off by death from the land to which you are going. The Lord will send wasting disease, and burning pain, and flaming heat against you, keeping back the rain till your land is waste and dead. So will it be till your destruction is complete, and the heaven over your heads will be brass, and the earth under you hard as iron. The Lord will make the rain of your land powder and dust, sending it down on you from heaven till your destruction is complete. The Lord will let you be overcome by your haters. You will go out against them one way, and you will go in flight before them 7 ways. You will be the cause of fear among all the kingdoms of the earth. Your bodies will be meat for all the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth. There will be no one to send them away. The Lord will send on you the disease of Egypt, and other sorts of skin diseases which nothing will make well. He will make your minds diseased, and your eyes blind, and your hearts wasted with fear. You will go feeling your way when the sun is high, like a blind man for whom all is dark, and nothing will go well for you. You will be crushed and made poor forever, and you will have no savior. You will take a wife, but another man will have the use of her. The house which your hands have made will never be your resting place. You will make a vine garden, and never take the fruit of it. Your ox will be put to death before your eyes, but its flesh will not be your food. Your ass will be violently taken away before your face, and will not be given back to you. Your sheep will be given to your haters, and there will be no savior for you. Your sons and your daughters will be given to another people, and your eyes will be wasted away with looking and weeping for them all the day, and you will have no power to do anything. The fruit of your land and all the work of your hands will be food for a nation which is strange to you and to your fathers. You will only be crushed down and kept under forever, so that the things which your eyes have to see will send you out of your minds. The Lord will send a skin disease, attacking your knees and your legs, bursting out from your feet to the top of your head, so that nothing will make you well. And you, and the king whom you have put over you, will the Lord take away to a nation strange to you and to your fathers. There you will be servants to other gods of wood and stone. And you will become a wonder and a name of shame among all the nations where the Lord will take you. You will take much seed out into the field, and get little in, for the locust will get it. You will put in vines and take care of them, but you will get no wine or grapes from them, for they will be food for worms. Your land will be full of olive trees, but there will be no oil for the comfort of your body, for your olive tree will give no fruit. You will have sons and daughters, but they will not be yours, for they will go away prisoners into a strange land. All your trees in the fruit of your land will be the locusts. The man from a strange land who is living among you will be lifted up higher and higher over you, while you go down lower and lower. He will let you of his wealth at interest, and will have no need of yours. He will be the head and you the tail. And all these curses will come after you and overtake you, till your destruction is complete, because you did not give ear to the voice of the Lord your God, or keep his laws and his orders which he gave you. These things will come on you and on your seed, to be a sign and a wonder forever, because you did not give honor to the Lord your God, worshipping him gladly, with joy in your hearts on account of all your wealth of good things. For this cause you will become servants to those whom the Lord your God will send against you, without food and drink and clothing, and in need of all things, and he will put a yoke of iron on your neck till he has put an end to you. The Lord will send a nation against you from the farthest ends of the earth, coming with the flight of an eagle, a nation whose language is strange to you, a hard-faced nation, who will have no respect for the old or mercy for the young. He will take the fruit of your cattle and of your land till death puts an end to you. He will let you have nothing of your grain or wine or oil or any of the increase of your cattle or the young of your flock, till he has made your destruction complete. Your towns will be shut in by his armies, till your high walls, in which you put your faith, have come down. His armies will be round your towns, through all your land which the Lord your God has given you. And your food will be the fruit of your body, the flesh of the sons and daughters which the Lord your God has given you, because of your bitter need and the cruel grip of your haters. That man among you who is soft and used to comfort will be hard and cruel to his brother, and to his dear wife, and to of those his children who are still living, and will not give to any of them the flesh of his children which will be his food, because he has no other. In the cruel grip of your haters on all your towns, the most soft and delicate of your women, who would not so much as put her foot on the earth, so delicate is she, will be hard-hearted to her husband and to her son and to her daughter, and to her baby newly come to birth, and to the children of her body. For having no other food, she will make a meal of them secretly, because of her bitter need and the cruel grip of your haters on all your towns. If you will not take care to do all the words of this law, recorded in this book, honoring the name of glory and of fear, the Lord your God, then the Lord your God will make your punishment, and the punishment of your seed, a thing to be wondered at, great punishments and cruel diseases stretching on through long years. He will send on you again all the diseases of Egypt, which were a cause of fear to you, and they will take you in their grip. And all the diseases and the pains not recorded in the book of this law will the Lord send on you till your destruction is complete. and you will become a very small band, though your numbers were like the stars of heaven, because you did not give ear to the voice of the Lord your God. And as the Lord took delight in doing you good and increasing you, so the Lord will take pleasure in cutting you off and causing your destruction, and you will be uprooted from the land which you are about to take as your heritage. And the Lord will send you wandering among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. There you will be servants to other gods, of wood and stone, gods of which you and your fathers had no knowledge. And even among these nations there will be no peace for you, and no rest for your feet, but the Lord will give you there a shaking heart and wasting eyes and weariness of soul. Your very life will be hanging in doubt before you, and day and night will be dark with fears, and nothing in life will be certain. In the morning you will say, if only it was evening. And at evening you will say, if only morning would come, because of the fear in your hearts and the things which your eyes will see. And the Lord will take you back to Egypt again in ships, by the way of which I said to you, you will never see it again. There you will be offering yourselves as men servants and women servants to your haters for a price, and no man will take you. Chapter 29. These are the words of the agreement which Moses was ordered by the Lord to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, in addition to the agreement which he made with them in Horeb. And Moses said in the hearing of all Israel, you have seen all the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and to all his servants and all his land, the great tests which your eyes saw, and the signs and wonders. But even to this day the Lord has not given you a mind open to knowledge, or seeing eyes or hearing ears. For 40 years I have been your guide through the wasteland. Your clothing has not become old on your backs, or your shoes on your feet. You have had no bread, or wine, or strong drink, so that you might see that I am the Lord your God. When you came to this place, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out to make war against us, and we overcame them, and we took their land and gave it to the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh, for their heritage. So keep the words of this agreement and do them, so that it may be well for you in everything you do. You have come here today, all of you, before the Lord your God, the heads of your tribes, the overseers, and those who are in authority over you, with all the men of Israel, and your little ones, your wives, and the men of other lands who are with you in your tents, down to the woodcutter and the servant who gets water for you, with the purpose of taking part in the agreement of the Lord your God, and his oath which he makes with you today, and so that he may make you his people today, and be your God, as he has said to you, and as he made an oath to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And not with you only do I make this agreement and this oath, but with everyone who is here with us today before the Lord our God, as well as with those who are not here, for you have in mind how we were living in the land of Egypt, and how we came through all the nations which were on your way. And you have seen their disgusting doings, and the images of wood and stone and silver and gold which were among them, so that there may not be among you any man or woman or family or tribe whose heart is turned away from the Lord our God today, to go after other gods and give them worship, or any root among you whose fruit is poison and bitter sorrow. If such a man, hearing the words of this oath, takes comfort in the thought that he will have peace even if he goes on in the pride of his heart, taking whatever chance may give him, the Lord will have no mercy on him, but the wrath of the Lord will be burning against that man, and all the curses recorded in this book will be waiting for him. And the Lord will take away his name completely from the earth. He will be marked out by the Lord, from all the tribes of Israel, for an evil fate, in keeping with all the curses of the agreement recorded in this book of the law. And future generations, your children coming after you, and travelers from far countries, will say, when they see the punishments of that land and the diseases which the Lord has sent on it, and that all the land is a salt and smoking waste, not planted or giving fruit or clothed with grass, but wasted like Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, on which the Lord sent destruction in the heat of his wrath, truly all the nations will say, Why has the Lord done so to this land? What is the reason for this great and burning wrath? Then men will say, because they gave up the agreement of the Lord, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he took them out of the land of Egypt, and they went after other gods and gave them worship, gods who were strange to them, and whom he had not given them, and so the wrath of the Lord was moved against this land, to send on it all the curse recorded in this book, rooting them out of their land, in the heat of his wrath and passion, and driving them out into another land, as at this day. The secret things of the Lord are God's, but the things which have been made clear are ours and our children's forever, so that we may do all the words of this law. Chapter 30. Now when all these things have come on you, the blessing and the curse which I have put before you, if the thought of them comes back to your minds, when you are living among the nations where the Lord your God has sent you, and your hearts are turned again to the Lord your God, and you give ear to his word which I give you today, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul, then the Lord will have pity on you, changing your fate, and taking you back again from among all the nations where you have been forced to go. Even if those who have been forced out are living in the farthest part of heaven, the Lord your God will go in search of you, and take you back, placing you again in the land of your fathers as your heritage, and he will do you good, increasing you till you are more in number than your fathers were. And the Lord your God will give to you and to your seed a circumcision of the heart, so that, loving him with all your heart and all your soul, you may have life. And the Lord your God will put all these curses on those who are against you, and on your haters who put a cruel yoke on you. And you will again give ear to the voice of the Lord, and do all his orders which I have given you today. And the Lord your God will make you fertile in all good things, blessing the work of your hands, and the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your cattle, and the fruit of your land. For the Lord will have joy in you, as he had in your fathers, if you give ear to the voice of the Lord your God, keeping his orders and his laws which are recorded in this book of the law, and turning to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. For these orders which I have given you today are not strange and secret, and are not far away. They are not in heaven, for you to say, who will go up to heaven for us and give us knowledge of them so that we may do them? And they are not across the sea, for you to say, who will go over the sea for us and give us news of them so that we may do them? But the word is very near you, in your mouth and in your heart, so that you may do it. See, I have put before you today, life and good, and death and evil, in giving you orders today to have love for the Lord your God, to go in his ways and keep his laws and his orders and his decisions, so that you may have life and be increased, and that the blessing of the Lord your God may be with you in the land where you are going, the land of your heritage. But if your heart is turned away and your ear is shut, and you go after those who would make you servants and worshippers of other gods, I give witness against you this day that destruction will certainly be your fate, and your days will be cut short in the land where you are going, the land of your heritage on the other side of Jordan. Let heaven and earth be my witnesses against you this day that I have put before you life and death, a blessing and a curse. So take life for yourselves and for your seed, in loving the Lord your God, hearing his voice and being true to him. For he is your life, and by him will your days be long, so that you may go on living in the land which the Lord gave by an oath to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Chapter 31. So Moses said all these things to Israel. Then he said to them, I am now 120 years old, I am no longer able to go out and come in, and the Lord has said to me, you are not to go over Jordan. The Lord your God, he will go over before you, he will send destruction on all those nations, and you will take their land as your heritage, and Joshua will go over at your head as the Lord has said. The Lord will do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the kings of the Amorites. and to their land, whom he put to destruction. The Lord will give them up into your hands, and you are to do to them as I have given you orders. Be strong and take heart, and have no fear of them, for it is the Lord your God who is going with you. He will not take away his help from you. Then Moses sent for Joshua, and before the eyes of all Israel said to him, Be strong and take heart, for you are to go with this people into the land which the Lord, by his oath to their fathers, has given them. By your help they will take it for their heritage. It is the Lord who goes before you, he will be with you, he will not take away his help from you or give you up, so have no fear. Then Moses put all this law in writing, and gave it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who take up the ark of the Lord's agreement, and to all the responsible men of Israel. And Moses said to them, At the end of every 7 years, at the time fixed for the ending of debts, at the Feast of Tents, when all Israel was come before the Lord your God in the place named by him, let a reading be given of this law in the hearing of all Israel. Make all the people come together, men and women and children, and anyone from another country who is with you, so that hearing they may become wise in the fear of the Lord your God, and take care to do all the words of this law, and so that your children, to whom it is new, may give ear and be trained in the fear of the Lord your God, while you are living in the land which you are going over Jordan to take for your heritage. At that time the Lord said to Moses, The day of your death is near. Send for Joshua, and come to the tent of meeting so that I may give him his orders. So Moses and Joshua went to the tent of meeting. And the Lord was seen in the tent in a pillar of cloud resting by the door of the tent. And the Lord said to Moses, Now you are going to rest with your fathers, and this people will be false to me, uniting themselves to the strange gods of the land where they are going. They will be turned away from me and will not keep the agreement I have made with them. In that day my wrath will be moved against them, and I will be turned away from them, veiling my face from them, and destruction will overtake them, and unnumbered evils and troubles will come on them, so that in that day they will say, Have not these evils come on us because our God is not with us? Truly, my face will be turned away from them in that day, because of all the evil they have done in going after other gods. Make then this song for yourselves, teaching it to the children of Israel, put it in their mouths, so that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I have taken them into the land named in my oath to their fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey, and they have made themselves full of food and are fat, then they will be turned to other gods and will give them worship, no longer honoring me or keeping my agreement. Then when evils and troubles without number have overtaken them, this song will be a witness to them, for the words of it will be clear in the memories of their children. For I see the thoughts which are moving in their hearts even now, before I have taken them into the land of my oath. So that same day Moses made this song, teaching it to the children of Israel. Then he gave orders to Joshua, the son of Nun, saying to him, Be strong and take heart, for you are to go at the head of the children of Israel into the land which I made an oath to give them, and I will be with you. Now after writing all the words of this law in a book till the record of them was complete, Moses said to the Levites who were responsible for taking up the ark of the Lord's agreement, Take this book of the law and put it by the ark of the Lord's agreement, so that it may be a witness against you. For I have knowledge of your hard and uncontrolled hearts. Even now, while I am still living, you will not be ruled by the Lord, how much less after my death. Get together before me all those who are in authority in your tribes, and your overseers, so that I may say these things in their hearing, and make heaven and earth my witnesses against them. For I am certain that after my death you will give yourselves up to sin, wandering from the way which I have given you, and evil will overtake you in the end, because you will do evil in the eyes of the Lord, moving him to wrath by the work of your hands. Then in the hearing of all the meeting of Israel, Moses said the words of this song, to the end. Chapter 32. Give ear, O heavens, to my voice. Let the earth take note of the words of my mouth. My teaching is dropping like rain, coming down like dew on the fields, like rain on the young grass and showers on the garden plants. For I will give honor to the name of the Lord. Let our God be named great. He is the rock, complete is his work, for all his ways are righteousness, a God without evil who keeps faith, true and upright is he. They have become false. They are not his children, the mark of sin is on them. They are an evil and hard-hearted generation. Is this your answer to the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is he not your Father who has given you life? He has made you and given you your place. Keep in mind the days of the past, give thought to the years of generations gone by. Go to your father and he will make it clear to you, to the old men and they will give you the story. When the Most High gave the nations their heritage, separating into groups the children of men, he had the limits of the peoples marked out, keeping in mind the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's wealth is his people, Jacob is the land of his heritage. He came to him in the wasteland, in the unpeopled waste of sand, putting his arms round him and caring for him. He kept him as the light of his eye. As an eagle, teaching her young to make their flight, with her wings outstretched over them, takes them up on her strong feathers. So the Lord only was his guide, no other God was with him. He put him on the high places of the earth, his food was the increase of the field. Honey he gave him out of the rock and oil out of the hard rock, butter from his cows and milk from his sheep, with fat of lambs and sheep of Bashan, and goats, and the heart of the grain, and for your drink, wine from the blood of the grape. But Yeshurun became fat and would not be controlled. You have become fat, you are thick and full of food. Then he was untrue to the God who made him, giving no honor to the rock of his salvation. The honor which was his they gave to strange gods. By their disgusting ways he was moved to wrath. They made offerings to evil spirits which were not God, to gods who were strange to them, which had newly come up, not feared by your fathers. You have no thought for the rock, your father, you have no memory of the God who gave you birth. And the Lord saw with disgust the evil doing of his sons and daughters. And he said, My face will be veiled from them, I will see what their end will be, for they are an uncontrolled generation, children in whom is no faith. They have given my honor to that which is not God, moving me to wrath with their false worship. I will give their honor to those who are not a people, moving them to wrath by a foolish nation. For my wrath is a flaming fire, burning to the deep parts of the underworld, burning up the earth with her increase, and firing the deep roots of the mountains. I will send a rain of troubles on them. My arrows will be showered on them. They will be wasted from need of food, and overcome by burning heat and bitter destruction, and the teeth of beasts I will send on them, with the poison of the worms of the dust. Outside they will be cut off by the sword, and in the inner rooms by fear. Death will take the young man and the virgin, the baby at the breast and the grey-haired man. I said I would send them wandering far away. I would make all memory of them go from the minds of men, but for the fear that their haters, uplifted in their pride, might say, Our hand is strong. The Lord has not done all this, for they are a nation without wisdom, there is no sense in them. If only they were wise, if only this was clear to them, and they would give thought to their future. How would it be possible for one to overcome 1,000, and two to send 10,000 in flight, if their rock had not let them go, if the Lord had not given them up? For their rock is not like our rock, even our haters themselves being judges. For their vine is the vine of Sodom, from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are the grapes of evil, and the berries are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, the cruel poison of snakes. Is not this among my secrets, kept safe in my storehouse? Punishment is mine and reward, at the time of the slipping of their feet, for the day of their downfall is near, sudden will be their fate. For the Lord will be judge of his people, he will have pity for his servants. When he sees that their power is gone, there is no one, shut up or free. And he will say, Where are their gods, the rock in which they put their faith? Who took the fat of their offerings, and the wine of their drink offering? Let them now come to your help, let them be your salvation. See now, I myself am he, there is no other God but me, giver of death and life, wounding and making well, and no one has power to make you free from my hand. For lifting up my hand to heaven I say, by my unending life, if I make sharp my shining sword, and my hand is outstretched for judging, I will give punishment to those who are against me, and their right reward to my haters. I will make my arrows red with blood, my sword will be feasting on flesh, with the blood of the dead and the prisoners, of the long-haired heads of my haters. Be glad, O you his people, over the nations, for he will take payment for the blood of his servants, and will give punishment to his haters, and take away the sin of his land, for his people. So Moses said all the words of this song in the hearing of the people, he and Hoshea, the son of Nun. And after saying all this to the people, Moses said to them, Let the words which I have said to you today go deep into your hearts, and give orders to your children to do every word of this law. And this is no small thing for you, but it is your life, and through this you may make your days long in the land which you are going over Jordan to take for your heritage. That same day the Lord said to Moses, Go up into this mountain of Abarim, to Mount Nebo in the land of Moab opposite Jericho, there you may see the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel for their heritage, and let death come to you on the mountain where you are going, and be put to rest with your people, as death came to Aaron, your brother, on Mount Hor, where he was put to rest with his people, because of your sin against me before the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the wasteland of Zin, because you did not keep my name holy among the children of Israel. So you will see the land before you, but you will not go into the land which I am giving to the children of Israel. Chapter 33. Now this is the blessing which Moses, the man of God, gave to the children of Israel before his death. He said, The Lord came from Sinai, dawning on them from Seir, shining out from Mount Paran, coming from Meribah Kadesh. From his right hand went flames of fire, his wrath made waste the peoples. All his holy ones are at his hand. They go at his feet, they are lifted up on his wings. Moses gave us a law, a heritage for the people of Jacob. And there was a king in Yeshurun, when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel came together. Let life not death be Reuben's, let not the number of his men be small. And this is the blessing of Judah, he said, Give ear, O Lord, to the voice of Judah and make him one with his people. Let your hands take up his cause, and be his help against his attackers. And of Levi he said, Give your Thummim to Levi and let the Urim be with your loved one, whom you put to the test at Massah, with whom you were angry at the waters of Meribah, who said of his father, Who is he? And of his mother, I have not seen her. He kept himself separate from his brothers and had no knowledge of his children, for they have given ear to your word and kept your agreement. They will be the teachers of your decisions to Jacob and of your law to Israel. The burning of perfumes before you will be their right, and the ordering of burnt offerings on your altar. Let your blessing, O Lord, be on his substance. May the work of his hands be pleasing to you. May those who take up arms against him and all who have hate for him, be wounded through the heart, never to be lifted up again. And of Benjamin he said, Benjamin is the loved one of the Lord. He will be kept safe at all times, he will be covered by the Most High, resting between his arms. And of Joseph he said, Let the blessing of the Lord be on his land, for the good things of heaven on high, and the deep waters flowing under the earth, and the good things of the fruits of the sun, and the good things of the growth of the moons, and the chief things of the oldest mountains, and the good things of the eternal hills, the good things of the earth and all its wealth, the good pleasure of him who was seen in the burning tree, may they come on the head of Joseph, on the head of him who was prince among his brothers. He is a young ox, glory is his horns are the horns of the mountain ox, with which all peoples will be wounded, even to the ends of the earth. They are the 10,000s of Ephraim and the thousands of Manasseh. And of Zebulun he said, Be glad, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar, in your tents. They will send out the word for the people to come to the mountain, taking there the offerings of righteousness, for the store of the seas will be theirs, and the secret wealth of the sand. Of Gad he said, A blessing be on him who makes wide the limits of Gad, he takes his rest like a she lion. taking for himself the arm and the crown of the head. He kept for himself the first part, for his was the ruler's right. He put in force the righteousness of the Lord, and his decisions for Israel. And of Dan he said, Dan is a young lion, springing out from Bashan. And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, made glad with grace and full of the blessing of the Lord, the sea and its fishes will be his. And of Asher he said, let Asher have the blessing of children, may he be pleasing to his brothers, and let his foot be wet with oil. Your shoes will be iron and brass, and as your days, so may your work be. No other is like the God of Yeshurun, coming on the heavens to your help, and letting his glory be seen in the skies. The God of your fathers is your safe resting place, and under you are his eternal arms, driving out the forces of your haters from before you. He said, let destruction overtake them. And Israel is living in peace, the fountain of Jacob by himself, in a land of grain and wine, with dew dropping from the heavens. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people whose Savior is the Lord, whose help is your cover, whose sword is your strength. All those who are against you will put themselves under your rule, and your feet will be planted on their high places. Chapter 34. And Moses went up from the tablelands of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah which is facing Jericho. And the Lord let him see all the land of Gilead as far as Dan, and all Naphtali and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah, as far as the great sea of the west, and the south, and the circle of the valley of Jericho, the town of palm trees, as far as Zoar. And the Lord said to him, this is the land about which I made an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your seed. Now I have let you see it with your eyes, but you will not go in there. So death came to Moses, the servant of the Lord, there in the land of Moab, as the Lord had said. And the Lord put him to rest in the valley in the land of Moab opposite Beth-peor, but no man has knowledge of his resting place to this day. And Moses at his death was 120 years old, his eye had not become clouded, or his natural force become feeble. For 30 days the children of Israel were weeping for Moses in the tablelands of Moab, till the days of weeping and sorrow for Moses were ended. And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had put his hands on him, and the children of Israel gave ear to him, and did as the Lord had given orders to Moses. There has never been another prophet in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord had knowledge of face to face, in all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and all his land, and in all the acts of power and fear which Moses did before the eyes of all Israel.